Hi again, my name is Brian Geary. I'm Communications Director here at Pearson College, UWC. Today I'm lucky enough to have a chance to talk with Dr. Spencer Fowler. He is recently arrived Deputy Head and Vice President of Education and Learning. So we're pleased to be here on the docks. We're on the traditional territory of the Giano First Nations, as you all know. And so, Spencer, you hit the ground running when you arrived here last summer. I think it was in July or August.
August 3rd.
And I don't think you've slowed down since then. So many thanks for taking the time today.
My pleasure.
Well, tell me, how's the first couple of weeks been?
The first few months have been amazing. I mean, intense because we landed, and then we haven't really left since then because there's been so much to do and be involved in. And it's such a communal place. There's a lot of people that are here that care so much about the school and its community and the work that's happening here. So there's always so much to be involved in and to do. So for me, it's been a real pleasure to be living and working in this really wonderful place.
And speaking of arriving here, now you came here from the affiliated high school of Peking University's Dalton Academy. Peking, Beijing is a community of what, 22 million or so? You came to a campus community of maybe 250 people. So how's that working out?
That's a good point. I mean, coming from Beijing being so large, it's an intense but also a really wonderful place to live. And coming to here, I came with the idea that we'd be able to slow down a bit. That this is a small school and community, but no, there's so much happening here. So it doesn't feel as small of a school or community than it actually is. But yeah, there has been some time that we've needed to adjust to this lifestyle and the nature here, which has been really, really wonderful.
And being an entirely residential boarding school too, as well, as you say, it's 24/7 kind of life going on here. Now you're living on campus with your family as well?
Yes, we're very lucky to have a house just next to one of the boarding houses. We're used to boarding houses. I mean, we were working at a school that was boarding in Beijing, although it wasn't 100% boarding. We still had a very significant boarding population, as well as our school in Hainan as well.
How many kids do you have, by the way?
3 kids. I know it's a lot. In China, you tell people you have 3 kids, and they can't believe it. But 3 kids, great kids, all born in a different country, and really adjusting and liking life here.
How old are they?
Youngest was just turned 8. My middle one, Layla, is 10, and the eldest is nearly 12.
Wow, that's a great time of life. They've lived all over the world, it sounds like, as well as you have. You've taken on a number of positions, basically in Africa, South America, I believe, and Asia, Europe. You have a bit of an appetite for different situations.
I mean, originally it was this idea of being nomadic and living and working around the world and really trying to connect to people and make impact. But my most recent post, we were there for 7 years because we fell in love with the school and the community and the culture. And then we decided that we wanted to have a different adventure. And now coming here, we hope to be here long term. We hope that we will have as long or even longer of a time with this community.
It's a vastly different community here, I must say. So you're a vice president, a deputy head. You've got to focus on education and learning. Give us an idea of what the breadth of those responsibilities are. How would you explain your role to, say, a typical student or a parent of a student?
I would say that I'm involved in coaching and championing everything academic, and then all the non-academic piece that involves students, faculty, and the boarding parents and casts, so all the different activities that are happening. So it's really everything connected to students and that whole machinery of the experience that they're going to have. The academic and the non-academic, making sure that obviously they're safe and they're thriving academically, but we find opportunities for them to connect their passions and interests to other people and other projects locally and domestically and internationally, so that they are able to then realize their talents in ways that other people will benefit.
Pearson has always taken the attitude that everybody here on campus, every adult, is an educator. So your role must intersect with absolutely everybody on campus, as you say, adults
Yeah,
and students.
that's right, and that's very similar to the mindset that we had in Beijing. Was that even if you weren't a teaching faculty member, you were still a faculty member, a non-teaching faculty member. That we all contribute to the teaching and the learning and the success of the students.
Amazing. So, just having a few months on campus, this might be a little bit of a premature or unfair question, but from what you've experienced so far, what's your forward-looking vision for your role?
I see so much potential to work with faculty and work with students to see how we can, within this IB framework and structure, the IBDP and the IBCP, how can we push the envelope a bit? How can we redesign this educational landscape so that our students are really able to do work that other people will benefit from? So looking beyond the IBDP, using the extended essay as an example of everyone in our community will have an opportunity to research and to write, and we should be striving for publication. We should be striving to do research that's so significant and important that other people will want to be publishing that work. So I think that the framework's there, the setups there, the foundation's there. It's really adding more resources so that students and faculty can see that these ideas can then be extended to different initiatives that will really have some impact. Again, it's just leveraging more resources, and the students we have here are so exceptional, and faculty and staff and the network. How do we utilize that more to then do something significant? So CALD is exciting because we're looking at climate action. Right.
Leadership development, yes.
So then, so within that climate landscape or scope, I mean, that connects to everything. It connects to the waste, it connects to design, how we're using energy, how we're wasting energy. So for me, it's really unpacking everything we're doing and how do we do it in a different way where there's more student voice and empowering students and empowering faculty so that we can then change the landscape of education in a different context based on how we're playing in that space.
We talk a lot about place-based education here at Pearson. Are you looking to expand what we offer beyond this place, this piece of geography, to other UWC schools and other IB schools, that kind of thing?
I mean, absolutely. Not many students or faculty get to work in such an incredible space. How do we open this up to the larger world, face-to-face and or even virtually? We have Race Rocks, 6 kilometers away, this incredible sanctuary where the SEAL sanctuary, where we have people doing research. We need to be connecting people, again, virtual, hybrid, or face-to-face camps and or programs that we can then create that other people will then be able to learn, share, and help us to then preserve this incredible place. But no, I think that we need to be a beacon of light for the other UWCs, but also to non-UWC schools and a non-UWC context. So how do we get more people in to then experience this? How do we, with such incredible students, faculty, and resources, how are then we sharing that with people outside of this immediate school?
That's lofty and a big goal. Now, my next question, I'm going to read this because I want to make sure I get it right. I saw that you have a passion for breaking the rigid mold of standardized education and replacing it with a progressive and bespoke student-centered curricula. Now, if you take a minute to think about that, that's pretty self-explanatory, but go a little deeper. Tell us what that means to you, and again, what does it mean to prospective students, to families of students?
Right. I mean, I can explain it by the work that I was doing in China, which is the most competitive context for education in the world, and also a very rigid educational system. And the work that I was doing there, leading there, and inspiring there was empowering students and faculty to co-create courses and co-create assessments. And if we didn't offer courses of interest to students, then we would work with other people to design other courses. Students could create their own independent courses. They could even be teaching courses. And so really trying to open up the world of possibilities for someone to then study and to learn, to create impact. And I wanted to come back into this system that is structured within this IB structure to then shake it up, to see where and how can we do this? How could we have students teaching courses or TAing courses?
Mm-hmm.
What other courses and or people could we be working with or having access for our students? And with CALD, we do have students taking university level courses with VIU and Royal Roads. How could we then blend that or connect that to the DP program? Or then how can we even then connect that to then other people? Or even programs and courses and resources beyond the academic world, but into industry as well.
you talked earlier about publishing and the importance of publishing, even at our students level. But you've got a few publishing credits to your CV as well. Now, if I'm not mistaken, you submitted an essay, or you have an essay published in, again, I'm going to read it, Stories Across the Globe, and a series of essays on international educational leadership. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, I think I need to be modeling that. I mean, I do have an expectation that faculty, these experts in their particular area, they stay connected to that area and contribute to that area and field, as well as then teaching and playing in the space of how could they recreate or re-engineer the teaching and learning specific to that discipline. So if I have that expectation of people to be researching and writing and speaking, then I need to be modeling it myself. So as much as possible, I'm writing and I'm speaking and I'm leading and modeling that myself. So yeah, recently I have a chapter in a book that's just come out where I'm, again, trying to inspire and shake things up in this context where it's pretty conservative, it's pretty traditional. There's not a lot of change happening. So I'm trying to be a different kind of leader and model and coach things in a different way than others. So it's not a top-down approach, but it's really a bottom-up approach. It's really empowering faculty, empowering students, because I ultimately believe in them with all my heart that we can change this landscape for the better, and I've seen it.
And you've experienced it.
Right.
So you've almost answered the next question I have. But if you were to think of say a typical 60-second elevator pitch, so what would you say to maybe a prospective student or maybe a family who's watching this right now? What would you say about Pearson and why a student should be here?
I would say that there's no other campus that I've ever seen like this in the world, and I think with the direction that we're wanting to go, that the students have so much input and even influence in what we're doing and what we're offering, that this is a place where they can really leave their mark, not only on the school and not only in the chosen or locally, but I think, again, working and partnering with us to then really reform and change education globally.
That's pretty good. I have to write that down and use that too, Spencer. Anything else you'd like to touch on? We're just about to wrap this up here.
It's just such a special place. I mean, you can read all you want about the school and its history, but until you get here, it's something that I just feel. It almost makes me emotional, and I'm just so grateful that I get to be a part of this family and to really try to help shift it and push it forward to something even more exceptional, even more unique. And I think that it's just so full of opportunities.
Spencer Fowler, Deputy Head, Vice President of Educational Learning, thanks very much for taking the time. Really appreciate it.
No, thank you. My pleasure.
I'm just going to say, too, don't forget to check out our website, pearsoncollege.ca, our social media platforms, and keep your eyes open for a podcast featuring Spencer, which will show a very different side of him from the education field. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.